students in the Technical Communication and Rhetoric program here at Utah State University. We were instructed to make a podcast that would be beneficial for the program and encourage individuals to consider pursuing a degree in technical writing. The following is what we have created. My name is Delaney Gagliano. I am a major in the Technical Communication and Rhetoric program as well as the Political Science program. I am a senior and I intend to graduate in a few months.
I'm Jess Nani. I'm also a senior in the Technical Communication program, about to graduate, and I have a minor in Public Relations.
I'm Jacob Lyman. I'm in the same program as Jess and Delaney. My minor is Environmental Studies, and after I graduate, I'm going to go work for a ski company in Salt Lake.
So the goal of this podcast is to provide advice and give personal examples on how to be successful and find your own path within the USU Comm program. We understand that success is defined in a lot of different ways. You can't really quantify it, but I think we all have very different perspectives and very different experiences in the Comm program, and we're all, by our own definition, successful within it. Yeah, we're just going to get started.
So, Jess, you have been named the Comm Student of the Year.
Ooh.
Yes. What work do you think got you that prestigious title?
What got me the title is just the fact that I put my nose to the grindstone and I produce high quality work within a lot of different spheres of help me.
All the different facets of the program, you explored them, and you didn't just do the bare minimum. You did more. You went above and beyond, and did the projects in class, and then also look for other ways to use what you're learning to do work outside of the program using those skills as you learn it.
Yeah, and I think that I displayed an active mind and a desire to explore the program more than just what the baseline of graduation requirements were. And I also formed really close relationships with several of the professors outside of the classroom and asked for extra help and really just got myself involved within the program.
What are some of the things, the projects that you've worked on that you're really proud of?
For the last 3 years, I have been the editor of our university's creative writing magazine. So that involves a lot of project management, some design work within InDesign and Photoshop and every other Adobe technology you can possibly think of. And lots of human coordinating, so interviewing and doing job trainings and things like that. And I think by far that's one of the biggest accomplishments I've had in college. And then I've also interned for I've also interned for Utah Public Radio doing social media management, which was really, really great. And then I also have been an undergraduate teaching fellow for the capstone class. Delaney, you have a unique perspective in that you have not only this degree, but another degree in political science. And I know that you have had a lot of phenomenal accomplishments in the political science department, but what specifically in the Comm department do you feel like you've accomplished?
So I went into the program having no intentions of working in any sort of design or graphic field. I felt I wasn't creative enough, I didn't have a good enough eye for design, or I just didn't think I was as talented as other people, and I thought it was just something that I would never be able to do. And I had the opportunity to TA for the class that teaches students to use Photoshop and InDesign and Camtasia and all of these great programs that I thought were out of my reach. And after TAing for this class for a year, I have realized I am just as capable, if not more, than most of my peers. I am starting to develop my own design style after literally stealing every single thing Jess puts on a piece of paper for the last 6 months.
Okay, but let's be fair. I stole everything I possibly could from other alumni. So
from
you're
Dax,
not the only one from Dax.
And you learn by copying at first until you develop your own style, and You know, it took me over a year, but I'm starting to develop my own style, and I'm starting to make things I'm genuinely very proud of. I'm incredibly comfortable learning different computer programs. I never thought technology was something I would be so fluent in, and it's something I'm incredibly proud of.
Your design work has just blossomed, and it's been really great.
I knew that I had okay taste, but I didn't have good design skills, so I just tried to practice as much as I could, because you will not improve unless you practice.
No. There's this great quote from Ira Glass, who does This American Life, and I'm totally going to butcher it exactly, but he says it's along the lines of, there's a certain point that you get in any sort of creative work, whether that's writing or design or art, where you can recognize what really good art is in whatever category you're trying to make. But you know that yours isn't quite to that level, and the only way you can get up to that level is by just making a ton of stuff and really just practicing it. And I think that you exemplify that. So if you can get any advice from this podcast, it's literally just keep making stuff, because it will get better and better and better the longer you go and the longer you try.
For me, some of the fear when I'm creating stuff is like the technology side of it. Like I don't feel like I'm gonna be able to effectively like do what I want just by function of me not knowing how to use like the computer programs. But the program, like the other students and the instructors always end up like helping me overcome those barriers to the point where I can like produce something that is in line with what I originally wanted to make, with like what my image was. Like they help fill the gap where I don't have the skills.
I totally agree with that. And I also think that it sets you up so you can really, if you want to learn something, they give you an avenue to do so. Like whether that's, I want to learn InDesign, and we're not necessarily doing InDesign in this class, but I'm going to find a way to do InDesign in this class. Like Dr. Z's editing class last semester, we didn't have to use InDesign or any other program to do our final editing project, but I wanted to make a new menu for the place I waitress at, and I decided to do that in InDesign because I wanted to practice doing some different formatting in InDesign, and it was great, and it's seriously probably the project I'm most proud of coming out of this program.
And I'll add to that, I've never experienced a time where I've looked at a project and been like, I could do this, but I want to do it a little bit differently, and I've asked a professor, and they've never been anything but the most accommodating. They've always been willing to bend the project, bend the assignment, and work with me. Not to make it easier or anything, but to kind of more fit like my personal goals.
Jacob, do you have a project you're most proud of?
Right now, I've been working with an organization here in Logan for another class as part of my minor, Cash Trails Alliance, to seek out and then attain grants for funding for a couple projects. They're looking to have 3 different stretches of trail, about 15 miles of trail, that they need a certain number of tools, and then they have the dollars that they can organize They can organize people, but they need tools, and it's about $2,000 in tools, and they wanted me to find a grant for them. And I've been able to use my background, my knowledge of the local, like the trails themselves and the needs, and then couple that with creating like technical documents. And that's what a grant is, right? It's just like there's strict parameters, you write it, and then you submit it. And I'm pretty proud of that because it's something that directly affects me. It's trails I ride on that I know are shitty, that can stand to be improved, and I'm able to use kind of the cumulative skills I've learned throughout the program here at the very end of my time studying in the program to create something I'm proud of.
So we've kind of been talking about how we've all accomplished things within the program and the versatility of the program and those kinds of things. In that, like, how do you feel like you are successful in this?
I've got this one. I've got a good answer. In a recent conversation with a faculty member, one thing they hit on over and over again was finding a way to mix a passion of yours with what you're doing in the program. Every time they've seen a student mix a passion of theirs with what you're doing in the program, they saw that student go on to find success, to find a career at the end of their time studying that made them happy, or leave the program with confidence at the very least to continue on with academic success like law school or something. And I think that that's something we can all speak to is if you find something that you care about or something you can get stoked on, and then find a way to mix your work with that. Like Jess with her menu at work, and Delaney with restructuring the class is something that she found engaging, and me with my condo terms of service. Like, that's a really good way to make the work easier. Because, I mean, editing and writing boring technical documents can be boring, but if you find a way to do this work concerning something that you care about, it's much easier to produce quality work. And that ultimately makes you happy.
Well, and I think we've all proved that because we all come from very different backgrounds, especially like where you're much more outdoorsy. You're doing the environmental studies minor. And then Delaney with her political science background, and then me doing like public relations and corporate communications. Like, I think we've all found a good way of like marrying the things that we're excited about into this program in a way that is not only effective for the assignments, but effective for us.
I agree. I define success a little differently than you, Jacob. I think if in your time at school you have found something somehow that you will be able to enjoy and make useful after your education, I think you have succeeded.
Jess's menu that she worked on is a prime example of something that you're already involved in, finding an opportunity to use her skills from the program.
Because I, to be quite frank, hate my waitressing job, but their menu has always driven me crazy, and I had the opportunity to fix it, and not only fix it, but make it something I was proud of, and so I did, and it is still, to this day, like my favorite thing that I did in the TechComm program, so.
That's what I like most about the TechComm program, is unlike a lot of other fields, you are pigeonholed into 1 or 2 potential jobs you can do. In our field, you can join whatever field you're passionate about, and there is guaranteed to be a job for you. Why did you choose to go into the TechComm program?
I was a creative writing major, so I was studying poetry. I realized that, like, I can still write poetry and I can still do these things that I love, but I can also switch over to an English degree that gives me the practical skills.
You can go through and focus on, like, create something that's designed really well, but it's also really, like, effective. And the goal is effectiveness. The beautiful design is added bonus, but the added design is what gives you the drive to do the work day to day and like do high quality work, and that's what's really important, and that's the key to success, I think.
Okay, I think we've touched on a lot of great things here, and I think that we've really hit home what this program does for its students and how you can be successful in it.
Find something you don't mind. And if you don't mind doing it, it won't be work.
Having a feel for what you want to do and just sticking with it and finding a way to do it, because things aren't just laid before you. You got to get after it yourself, and you got to have a little bit of confidence and stick-to-itiveness, and that ends up leading you to where you ultimately want to be. If you just figure out what you want to do and make it happen, that will always end up leading to a good place.
I agree. And I think, from my perspective, not letting any opportunity pass you by. Like, I genuinely think that's the reason that they gave me TechComm Student of the Year, is because I just said yes to literally everything. Make sure that you are saying yes to as many things as possible. Keep in mind that your worth, just because you're a college student, doesn't mean that you should be taken advantage of. If you say yes to things, the opportunities and the experiences you'll have will be fantastic, and get involved in no matter what that means to you, whether that's student government or whether that's getting involved within the program like I did with Sink Hollow, the literary magazine, or whatever that means. Just get involved, get into it. Well, thanks for taking the time to listen to this podcast. We've had a great time recording it. And we really hope that you enjoy your time in the TechComm program and that you make the most of it.
And match your ambition with work.
Yeah.
Equal parts ambition, equal parts work, equal parts talent. It's all work. Work has got to be as much or more a part of everything you do in any program, but especially the TechComm program. If you make sure that's there, you can't help but succeed.
Truth.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.